Hey, this is Keith Shapiro, and here we are at point number 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to tie all this together in a way that'll help you understand what it really takes to have increased referrals. When we put this strategy together for you, we wanted to make sure that we covered all the important points that really help the process of increased referrals. We looked at the right marketing approach, knowing your audience, the value of personalization or the messaging that you use in your marketing, and the value of your database or sphere of influence and the role that it plays. It's also important to understand that not having a background in marketing doesn't mean that you can't do successful marketing, because you can. All of the points that we've covered so far are strictly common sense, and they all work, especially when you put it all together. And newsletter marketing isn't for everyone. Some people want nothing to do with their marketing, no matter what the facts say, no matter what the returns are. They don't want to deal with it. They want to do set it and forget it marketing. Hey, why should I bother with touching it if I can just set it and let someone else do the work? The reason this is a mistake, it disconnects you from communication with your client base. So the solution that most of these companies will offer is relevant content. Either they'll have some, or you have to go get some relevant content. Something about the industry, something that makes you look like a professional. Chances are your clients already know you're a professional. That's why they used you in the first place. And if they didn't know going in, they figured it out on the way out, because now they've got the loan, they've got the home, and, something in their life has changed. Now, if the change in their life is not important enough for you to stay in contact with them, when it's time to refer one of their friends or family who's looking to do the same thing, it's not that they don't want to send them to you. They forget who you are. You're not connected to them. In other words, the relationship that you've developed during the process has ended. How do they say that? Out of sight, out of mind. And this is another area where the process starts to break down. For example, I'll just send them some industry stuff and then they'll remember me, and then when they have someone that needs what it is I do, they'll call me. So in other words, enter in relevant content, also known as value content. Information about the industry that relates to you, that you understand, that you feel good about, that you somehow think is going to relate to your past client. The individual that's no longer a borrower, they're no longer a buyer, and they're no longer a seller. So if you're only sending information to your past clients about the Fed, property values, and the latest credit rules, it might be a good idea to realize that when someone comes home from a hard day's work, the Fed is the last thing they're concerned about, much less the local property values and the latest rules. It's very important to remember that you are not your customer. You're just not. They just don't see the industry the way that you do. They don't have the same passion that you have. As a marketing company, we can use any manner of marketing process to help our clients make more money and increase their market share. The reason that we do newsletters and we haven't followed down the path of digital marketing like everybody else is that newsletters work. And for the loan officer and real estate agent, digital marketing, email marketing, social media marketing, they don't work anywhere near as well. The average loan officer or realtor that does 100 to 150 pieces of the newsletters sees anywhere from 1 to as many as 3 new files with each mailing. If you're considering keeping a hedge around your client base, sending them nothing or sending them content that they're not going to read certainly doesn't do that. It's a fact that those individuals who share themselves, share their knowledge, and become family do infinitely better than those who don't. There's only 2 reasons why a newsletter doesn't work. Either number 1, you don't do a very good job, or number 2, you're really not a very likable person. If someone doesn't like you, they're not going to refer any business to you. And if you didn't do a good job, they're not going to refer any business to you, especially those they care about. Now, I realize that's a pretty harsh thing to say, but I also have to say that after doing this for the last 11 years, we're not here in the hopes that you'll like us so that maybe you'll buy something from us. That's not how this works. Our job is to make sure that you understand the truth and how to do the marketing correctly, because it's a synergistic relationship. The only way that you'll continue to be a client of Exodus Marketing is if your newsletters are successful. Now, the tragedy is all of the industry doesn't use our newsletters, but the reality is 100% of the people that do are successful with them. And what it comes down to is this. Relationship marketing through the use of a newsletter is the absolute best way for the real estate professional to communicate with their client base and to maintain that relationship that developed during the process. The reason this is so effective is the nature of the product that you guys sell. It's a high-ticket item. It's not a quick impulse purchase. No one flies off the couch after getting a clever email and goes, I need another loan. That just never happens. With the life-changing decision of a home purchase or a refinance and the loan process, they need to call their friend the loan officer or their friend the real estate agent. Now, if they're actually calling one of their friends for the same type of advice, let's hope that their friend is your past client. If you share yourself, share your knowledge, and become family, that friend is going to refer you every single time. That's why a newsletter is so important. The connection between you and your client base is absolutely essential for those referrals. Now you might be thinking, well, hey Keith, this sounds great. However, I don't write well. This is one of the reasons that I don't really do marketing. I don't know how to do it. And as I stated in point number 3, personalization is a huge part of the process. So we're not going to go into the finer points of personalization here, and precisely why you want to schedule that marketing needs conversation and review. That's where we focus one-on-one with the personalization that's going to work right for you. We have something that no other company in the industry has, and that's called the Content Help Service. A very simple process, where before each newsletter gets personalized, we go through a brief 5 to 7 minute conversation. We take the information that you give us from a select handful of questions that we ask, and we write the personalization from those answers. This allows you to communicate with your client base as yourself, even if you don't have the skill of creative writing. If you've done a newsletter before but haven't seen the kind of results that we're describing here, it's probably because you didn't use an Exodus marketing newsletter. If you've never done a newsletter before, as soon as the first newsletter issue hits, the phone almost always rings. The only regret the Exodus client ever has is that they didn't start doing a newsletter sooner. If you've considered a newsletter campaign in the past but haven't actually put one out yet, and you've gone through the survey, let's go over the results of that survey. If a newsletter's not for you, believe me, we'll tell you. But if it is, an increased market share and increased referrals are right around the corner. I sincerely hope that the 5-point strategy has been helpful to you, and if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to give us a call. We're always here to help you.